Hi everyone, it's been a while. I've been too busy failing at fishing matches to record any pleasure fishing videos lately. So today I'm at Whalesborough Lake, getting back into it, and the plan was to fish the waggler and a carp rod, but unfortunately I forgot to pack my waggler rod back into my hold all after fishing some feeder only matches. So what I'm actually fishing today instead is the pellet feeder on an inline ICS Preston system. So we have small 20 gram, actually there might be a medium 20 gram cage pellet feeder. We've got some mainline cell micros, some dead white maggots, corn, 4mm pellets and chopped worms to go in the feeder as well as some mainline 6mm wafters and some boilies for the carp rod. Currently I've got loaded up in this feeder 2 dead white maggots on a pole special microbarb hook, and the feeder is loaded with the micros. So this is going to be my first cast on the pellet feeder rod. I've had the carp rod out about 15 minutes while I've been setting up the box and everything else. No indications on that yet, although there have just been a couple of large swirls just hit the surface just around that margin area, so hopefully there's carp about and feeding. I'm on peg 52, which is actually 2 on the lake. I was going to fish in 51, which is the next one along, but somebody was already in there, so I've not fished this peg before, but hopefully I'll get some good results out of it today, even though I'm using a different method to what I'd hoped to. There's loads of little pinprick bubbles all on the surface, just where my feeder was last time, and also where I've just cast to, which is slightly to the right. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the camera, but it's just in there. They're in the reflection of the cafe on the water, and also just slightly to the right of that, just slightly closer in. So there's definitely fish feeding, assuming those balls are coming from fish. Got chopped worm in the feeder this time, alongside the pellets and the dead white maggots on the hook. This is my third cast. The first one I left in for 10 minutes and the second one was left in for 5 minutes. Yeah, a whole load more balls will just appear on the surface then. An indication, just short of 5 minutes. Just about to lift on that then, but it should pull back, so it must be a liner. But again, there are all loads and loads of bubbles out round where I cast to. So there's definitely fish feeding on the bottom. More bubbles. Chop up some more worm and reel in and cast back out with another loaded feeder. Try and get lots of feed out there to keep those occupied and potentially attract some more fish into the area. I just had a little tug on the rod then, and loads of bubbles have just come up just right where the feeder is. Again, it's obviously just a line bite. Been fishing for 45 minutes now. Well, there's a carp on the surface there. We want him on the bottom, not on the top. be just fish pecking at the feeder. I put a load of dead maggots in the feeder this time, and then I've got a pink wafter on the hook and a band, and then just put some micro pellets across the front just to keep it all in. Another carp on the surface there, and loads of bubbles. Plenty of fish over there, but no bites yet. There's another carp swam straight through the peg. Got no floating baits with me. Oh, another little wrap on the rod tip then. Well, I'd stopped the video before I reeled in, but that wrap on the rod tip was a tiny roach less than an ounce. Hopefully there's some big ones around. Well, I've been fishing for just under an hour now. Just had one tiny roach under an ounce to show for fishing on the pellet feeder, so I'm going to change to the banjo feeder now, which I've had success here in the past further up the lake. So I've just got a banjo feeder, I think it's a medium one, changed down to a size 16 KKH hook with a bayonet on, and on the bayonet there we've got a 6mm mainline cell wafter. I've also got the mainline pineapple and the mainline tuna wafters as well, so hopefully we'll have more success with this. If not, I thought actually this 10-foot carp feeder impacts rod I could probably use it as a waggle rod, to be honest. So I will go down that route if I don't have any luck at all on this feeder. Slight touch then. Loads of bubbles again near the feeder. Another massive bow wave. I have just cast out my carp rod now, near to where I've been casting my other feed. I just thought it makes sense if the carp are coming in, hoovering up some of that feed that I'm putting in. It makes sense for my other rod to be cast out there as well, so it's just to the right of the reflection of the cafe in between those two far bank trees. And my method feeder rod is just in line with the platform on the opposite bank, just past the where the line of the reflection of the trees is. Well, I've been fishing for about half an hour now on the banjo feeder with the wafter in and micros. Still not had any luck with that, so I've just changed again now. Still got the banjo feeder, but I've changed the hook length to a 35cm hook length with a 14 Drennan Super Spade micro barb hook on with a worm and a dead white maggot. So just trying different options. Obviously I could change that to a bomb if I wanted to, but I thought I'd just leave that on just so there's pellets going in and bait in the area as I cast. Just had some tiny little shivers of the rod tip then. It might be that this hook proves to be too long, but I can shorten it up if I need to. A couple of small little taps on the rod tip there, and another one. waiting for it to go around a bit more positive before I lift it into it. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little roach that's on. Well, it's not on now. Is that something on? No. I'm just going to switch back to the pellet feeder now, because that's 20 gram rather than the 30 gram that this feeder is. Try and give them a lighter weight. Hopefully less resistance on the line. Oh, that feels more positive. Is this one on? No. Oh, yeah, it's so small I couldn't even tell. They're one of those tiny roach. Well, I was only getting the small tiny roach after I changed the longer hook length on the feeder, so another change of tactic. I thought I might as well just target the smaller fish, since that's what I'm getting anyway. So I've moved on to my Drennan Acolyte Pro whip 5 metre, and I've got my shot. I think this is a size 18 F1 pellet hook, and then the shot a number 6 shot, I believe, all just above the hook length. So hopefully I'll get past the little tiny fish once you're there on the bottom of the feeder anyway. But yeah, I just thought I might as well target the little fish, because that's all that's feeding at the moment. Obviously, as soon as I change to a whip, I'm going to get a carp on, which is why I didn't bring my pole with me, because every time I've used a pole here, I've had a carp on and it's broke me. So we'll see how we get on. There's a small roach. Well, the section isn't pushed in properly. Oh, they've all collapsed in now. Strange. And they've got a massive bird nest tangle all round the top of the rig. Brilliant. So that bird's nest around the top of our whip has lost me about 1 metre of my rig line now. So it's going to make it a bit of a pain to fish to hand, I think. I'll see how we get on, and then if it's not possible, I'll just have to extend the line at the top of the rig by just putting a loop to loop, an extra bit of section of line on there. That's a bit frustrating. So, a little tip: make sure you telescope your whip out fully. Make sure all the sections are locked in place, because when they all concertina back in together, you get a massive tangle in your rig. Luckily it's all above the float, so none of the float or the shot or anything got caught up in a tangle. So it would have made it more of a pain to try and sort out. Probably would have just swapped to another rig. Ooh, I've actually got something more substantial by the feel of this. It's an eel, I think, judging by those bubbles that have just come up. They always give the impression of something more substantial, presumably down to their aerodynamics. Say that, I'm not sure if it was an eel then when I got to the surface. No, it is an eel. Oh. And it's come off. I don't really mind that, to be honest. This looks like it's left a load of slime on the line there, thank you, Mr. Eel. Yeah, it's looped the hook back over and left slime all over. Well, so far I'm really having one of the worst fishing days possible. I forgot my rods, forgot my catapult, I've split my trousers. I've not had any success on the tactics that I have used. I've changed over to the whip and started getting bites, and I've got me a tangle. Lost an eel. I actually got broke on the eel. I've extended this line now, so I'm fishing to hand again on the 5 metre whip. So hopefully things start to improve. I've only been fishing for just over 3 hours. It feels a lot longer than that, to be honest, which is an indication as to how badly things have happened, but normally time flies, doesn't it, when you get into the fishing rhythm, but it's not happening today because I've had too many interruptions. I've got a match on here next Sunday. Not sure when I'll get a chance to publish this video, but so far I think pole or waggler is probably going to be the way method to go. Another small roach, slightly bigger. Is this a carp I've hooked or an eel? I think it's a carp. I told you I'd hook one on that route, didn't I? Actually, maybe it's an eel. There's lots of bubbles come to the surface, and they can't normally just make one massive surge. I've got a feeling it's in the other way. It's doing those shaking noises, shaking movements, I should say. I think that's when it kind of twists itself around its own body. I don't mind the larger ones as much, but they're just so much slime, and I mean, it was a eel that cost me these trousers because I had to put them on a 60-degree wash to get the slime out, which just melted all the tape seams and made them split. So even if I do get eel slime on them today, then they're going in the bin anyway, so probably not so much of an issue. Yeah, it's an eel. I've just seen its head at the top. Decent size. I wouldn't complain about a few of these in the match next week. It's just how much of it, if it wrecks my rig or leaves me in a tangle if it comes unhooked. See if I can scoop it in a net. That's not in it. Probably should get the head over and the tail just manoeuvres itself out. Yeah, it's in now. I think, yeah. I doubt I'll be able to hold it up to the camera. There you go, it's probably, I can never tell the weight of eels. Maybe about 12 ounce. Back to the roach. Another slightly better stamper roach. Maybe 2 ounce. It's 10 past 12 now, and what I've decided to do is for my second rod, rather than having the carp rod out there, I've reeled that one in, and my second rod is now the method feeder rod that I was using originally. So I thought just I'd test it out with a wafter and some method micro pellets in to see whether I can get something on that rod alongside fishing the whip. Thought I'm more likely to get a larger fish on that than the buoys that I've been using. There's no sign of any carp feeding on that rod at all. Obviously I had the carp in my swim in terms of bow waves and swirls on the surface, but nothing actually on, no indications on the carp rod at all. So hopefully we got the chance of bream as well as the little goldfish that are in here. Now we've moved over to the banjo feeder on that second rod. If not, I'll continue to try and improve my techniques of catching the smaller fish on the whip. So that looks like it's going to be the one to build the weight up in my watch here. Oh, that was a fast one. Oh, that's a better size roach. Has it come off? No, still at the moment. Not really a netter, but compared to what we have been catching, I didn't want to take any risks. There we are. Maybe I need to throw in more maggots to attract the bigger ones. I've got a feeling this is a little eel based on the bite. It's gradually going down in stages, the float was, which that's how the eel on the canal seemed to bite. I can't say the eel earlier on had a bite like that, so that was a bigger one, so I don't know. Whatever it is, give me a merry dance. There's no little tiny bubbles though, so maybe it's not an eel. Ah, it's a little brown goldfish, I think. Yeah, it is, yeah. A whole mass of bubbles have just come up there. I'm fishing there as well. Yeah, it's a little brown goldfish. I do like these. Lots of these in the stock pond as well. Let's come up in the net. Oh, juggling him. Got slime all over my jacket now. Try and hold him in front of the camera for you. There we are. Biggest roach on the whip. There's the roach. So you can probably tell from the reel ratchet that I've hooked a carp on the method feeder. All went mayhem, so basically obviously I've not had a take on the carp rod all day, so I did mention earlier on the video, 10 past 12, 20 minutes ago, I'd given up on getting a take on the carp rod, so I brought my carp rod in and put my method rod out as a second rod with a pineapple 6mm wafter in a banjo feeder, and just cast that into the margin to my right. And then we had a take on that then. So I thought, right, I'll get my whip out, lifting my whip up just to get that rig out, and there was a nice size roach on that, probably actually the biggest roach that we had today, about the same size as the brown goldfish I've had before. And anyway, so we're going to hook that roach. The microphone pinged off my jacket, and I went to reach for the method rod. There's a carp on the surface there. So that all went a bit crazy. Waited all day for that take by a carp, and I got one on the method feeder just down in the margins down here, and by the time I got my whip out and got the roach off, it had taken the line right up towards that far end of the lake, which would have been fine. It was still on. Then the camera battery ran out, but basically somehow it snagged me up. The line, I think, went basically over the lower branches of that near side tree, so it must have just gone right tight into the margin, right up further up that lake. And when I reeled in, the actual hook length had come off, so that the kind of method connector that I use had slid open, so the hook length had just come off that connector. So anyway, it's all typical. Just as things were heating up on the whip and I was starting to get bigger fish on the whip, I got that type of method feeder, so maybe they're just starting to feed now, I don't know. When I cast the method feeder back out just in this margin, it looked like there's quite a lot of cloud in the water, so maybe that's carp stirring at the bottom as well, so hopefully we'll get another take soon on that particular rod. But if not, I've got the clutch set loose again, so I'll carry on fishing with the whip in the meantime. Trying to get another take on the method feeder now. Not as violent as the last one. I wonder if it's one of those goldfish. Unless it's a carp that hasn't woke up yet. It's a goldfish. Oh, typical. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I was expecting. And I started off on the method feeder early doors, so I can't complain about them now. Let's try and pick him up. On the bottom lip. Here we are. I was just about to cast my whip out again, but it looks like I've got a couple of tip trembles on the method feeder rod. Maybe I should have just started in the margins on the method feeder all along. Another little twitch. Yeah, I'm going to put my whip away for a bit. And maybe if I start doing regular casts with the method feeder into that margin, I'm going to get the responses that I was hoping to see this morning. Some very slight pulls on that then. I don't know what this is going to be. Small roach maybe. Yeah, it's obviously hooked itself trying to get the microbes out of the feeder. I thought that was a bite on the method feeder. It's definitely a little tremble, but I think it was just something after the pellets or a line bite. I don't know. It's gone quiet again after that little flurry of excitement of losing the carp and getting the goldfish. Oh, we've got another one of our early friends. I put a couple of worms and a Z white maggot on this banjo feeder rig. Things have gone quiet on the wafter. Unfortunately, my carp rod is right across the landing net. This is not very well planned, is it? Oh, can't lift my net up. That's sorted. Another nice size eel. Very similar to the last one. It was coming as hooked in the net, so there's a win. There's just a little twitch on my line then, and then a big carp just bow waved out of the area on the surface. So I don't know whether the twitch was the carp just swimming into the line and just spooked him, or whether he was actually going for the bait. I don't know. Maybe he was just in the area while another fish was plucking at the line. And there's another carp just swam out further to the left as well on the surface. So they're just all in cruising mode at the moment. I might have missed that one opportunity to catch a good sized fish today. Feels something solid. And is it another eel? Worms on the banjo feeder. It looks like another eel. A smaller eel this time. Well, it's been a frustrating 20 minutes since I caught that little eel. The line caught in the back of the spool on the reel. I got tangled up in the mechanism and snapped and tried to release it, so I've had to set all the rod up again. Change the hook onto a banded hook now, so I've put a pellet in the band. So I've not tried that today, I've only tried wafters and worms. Oh, there's a little snatch of the line. Again, might be something just after the micro pellets. It'll be time to call it a day soon. It's 3:15, it's later than I thought it was. So yeah, I was hoping to get one more take from a carp, but it's not looking likely at the moment. Oh, bloody hell. That was a carp. And I hadn't put my I hadn't put my loosen the drag off again, so I got used to the small fish. Bloody hell. And just as I that it's the same as before, the method connector, the collar from the method connector has just come off completely. Oh, so frustrating, this game is. Just didn't get time to take the bow alarm off. Typical. 2 minutes after I said I'd missed the opportunity for a carp, I get another take. Let's try setting it up again. Back to the little trembles again now. And another carp splashing on the surface over the far side. No, that's just a snatch. I shouldn't have lifted into that one. Pellet's still on the hook band, so I'll leave that one on. Just load the feeder up again and get it back out. See whether we can have one last take. I'd given it once, but hopefully we can get one nice carp to show for our efforts today. That's on? No. Pellet's still on. Must be tiny little roaches pecking at it, I think. So I've just decided this is my last cast now. I'll give it 5 minutes and pack up. Loads of little snatches on the tip. Let's just spring it back every time. So since I moved on to this 4mm krill pellet, I've had one carp that I lost instantly, and loads and loads of just snatchy little bites. Until they take the pellet or until I lift in and there's nothing there, so I guess they must be small little fish. They're just pecking that 4mm pellet. It's a size 14 hook, so it's not that big, so you should be able to hook the smaller fish. I've definitely caught tiny roach on bigger hooks earlier on today. I think frustration's the best word that sums up today's session. Basically, I was doing well on the whip in the end, catching lots of small fish, a couple of decent eel and brown goldfish, and I'd caught a nice roach as well just when I had that carp take on the method feeder. So I think I was hoping to be able to decide whether to go for the method feeder all day in my match next week, or whether to use a waggler or whip or pole, and I still haven't made that decision really, because I can build up a decent weight with the smaller fish on the whip, but there's always that chance. Well, I've had 2 carp takes, so if I'd have caught those, that would have been, they maxed capped at £8 each in the matches, so that would have ended up being £16, but I didn't catch them, so what's the point in focusing on trying to get the carp. Oh, we've got a little wren or a little bird on my rod again there. It's been my friend all day. Yeah, what's the point in trying to focus on catching the carp if I can't even land those? So I think I'll probably go with the waggler and whip approach in the match, but also set this method up and just try occasionally to see whether I can nab a carp in between catching the small fish. But yeah, like I say, it's been a frustrating day, but you know, it's been dry and fairly warm. I've been able to see some carp cruising around, I just haven't been able to catch any, and it's given me some opportunities to test some things out, so it's better than being at home, but it could have gone a whole lot better. Thanks for watching, see you again soon. Off he goes.